Ladies and gentlemen, stick around. We've got Ideas by Elliot. Hey, folks, you're listening to Ideas by Elliot. And we're here with Ideas by Elliot. Podcast.
I'm here with Amanda. We are rolling, and we're not allowed to edit anything.
Okay.
Unless Mr. Producer breaks in and says, except for this time.
Okay.
Which he did one time.
Okay.
One time. And that one and done. So I'm here with Amanda Patterson-Luedtke. Okay. And you are a city council candidate.
I am.
Okay. Tell me about that.
What would you like to know?
Why the hell are you doing that?
Well, I've always been interested in running for city council. It's an embarrassing position, so it's the lowest form that you can really enter of government.
The lowest form.
That
sounds like the lowest life form, like a cockroach.
Yes, I want to be your cockroach.
Okay, this is already off the rails. Okay, so actually, let's give a little background. So you're a business owner.
I am.
So tell me a little bit about your background.
So I've been in the restaurant industry my entire life. Grandparents own restaurants. My husband and I opened Cafe Madrid 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago.
And where's that?
It's down on Broadway, 154 North Broadway.
Okay.
And it's a tapas restaurant. Tapas as in small plates, small portions. So it's the only Spanish, as in Spain Spanish restaurant in the area.
And it's like across the street from Kavarna.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you are running for city council
Correct.
because you want to get into politics?
I want to be more involved in the district. I'm already very invested in the district. I mean, we live in the district. My children go to school in the district. We own a business in the district. And I would just like to see stronger leadership in the District 9 for the City Council.
Okay. So there's currently somebody in District 9.
Correct.
And so you would be stronger than this person. How? Yeah.
While our current alderman is very passionate and he can be very goal-focused, he, in my opinion, lacks a lot of respect at the end of the day. You and I can disagree with each other, but I'm still, hopefully, I don't think I lose a lot of respect for people just because we disagree or we're on opposite sides. And I think that he doesn't display a lot of respect in disagreements and arguments.
Okay. So you're in District 9, and the incumbent would be who?
Geisema.
Okay. And there's also another individual running, and so there's going to be a primary.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the date of the primary is?
It is the 16th of February.
Okay.
And then there are actually two other people besides me running. So.
Okay. Yeah. And so there's a total of 4?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So see, I didn't even. That's pretty awesome.
It is. It's nice to see so many people want to get involved.
So typically in a primary, because of name recognition, usually the incumbent gets in, and then there will be one other person, right? So what's your where do you kind of stand out among the crowd? Like why would somebody vote for you?
I am very determined. When I put my nose to the grindstone, I get things done. I want to see new homeowners, clean up the drug houses in the affordable areas where people are just moving in and interesting things are happening. And I really would.
So what does that mean? Clean up the drug houses. Like, what do you want to see happen?
I've already worked with a couple of the district cops in our area, and we've gotten at least 3 of them out. Basically, you just need vigilant residents just to let them inform the police what's going on, what's happening, let them know if they make any calls that need to be made. if they're being loud or disruptive, if you see anything unlawful going down, obviously. And it gives the officers more power to actually go and make a stop or make a house call. And then it also gives the landlord more power to address the tenants. And after so many calls and police calls, the landlord has the ability to basically say you have to shape up or you have to get out.
Okay. So District 9 we're talking about, correct? And what are the approximate boundaries of District 9?
It's kind of...
I know it's jagged.
It's kind of wonky. So
it's gerrymandered.
So from the river all the way up to, I think it's Gross at one point. And then it kind of, that's the longest part, but it's not symmetrical or anything. And then it goes all the way to Potts, but I know Potts has been renamed, and I can't remember what it's been renamed. And then to Dousman Street. So, yeah, it's a very large area.
I'm gonna bring up a map real quick. So the that's exactly what I'm not supposed to do. You're supposed to keep talking when I'm looking. We're not supposed to look at the same time. That's what Nick was being critical of me at.
Okay.
He's like,
I'm critical of lots of things, and I have the map up.
Okay.
Well,
and on the map, it does still say Potts.
I know it does on the map, but I can't remember.
But Joanne's in that area. That is really weird. They like kind of cut a circle out of that area between Joanne's and Potts.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly why that happened or what's going on there, but it is a little strange. But it, so let's see. Oh, what?
Yeah, I'm not sure the method behind that madness, but
some areas,
there has to be.
Like it goes Ridge and 9th, and then to Ridge and Hickory, and then cuts back down.
So what I'll try to do is I'll put a link to that in the notes for the show.
That'd be wonderful. Thank you.
Sometimes I forget to do that, but I think that's a crazy enough map. But it's on the west side of Green Bay. From I'm in the district. My business is in that district, and I signed your paper.
You did.
So,
thank you.
Full disclosure, that doesn't mean that I won't have your competitors on or opponents.
I hope you do.
So I guess my goal is to try to provide some clear differentiation between the candidates. So a couple things that I've asked before. What has been your experience with city council in the past? So are you familiar with like how the meetings operate, what your responsibilities are? And so talk to that a little bit.
I am kind of a dork, and like I said, I've been thinking about this for a long time.
So that's not going to get votes.
No, it's not. But
heads up
just
on that.
Full disclosure that I'm kind of one of those people that.
Although it works for Trump.
I don't think that, but okay.
He's going to win Iowa.
I just go to city council meetings just because I don't have something to do that night, and I want to know.
By dork you mean political science nerd?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm just like, hey, what should I do tonight? I'm gonna go to the city council meeting, and sometimes it's because there's something on the agenda that I'm like, I want to know more about that, or I want to know what's going on with it. So I will just show up. So
do you have an example of something like that? Like the time when you showed up that something interesting happened, or that have you spoken to council at all about any issues?
Well, I've spoken to the council about the issues of Walmart.
Okay. What was your stance on Walmart?
I was against it.
Okay.
I'm not against Walmart, but I was not for where they were going to propose the location of the one that was going to be, where they were proposing the one on Broadway. I didn't think it fit with the district, and I was concerned it was me.
No, Elliot.
It's a running joke with Nick.
It's not a joke. You just don't turn your phone off.
Well, now I intentionally leave it on just so that I can be harassed. Why? I can go hours without any messages, and then ding, ding, ding.
Well, everybody knows that you're on. And
They don't.
you used to do live stuff, and they're like, "Ooh, I get to be on the show when his phone dings."
It's not Don.
All right.
So, I also so when you run for city council, you attend the city council meetings, and then you have to join a committee of a sort. So welfare and protection, I've gone to traffic meetings as well. The welfare protection, the one that I went to just to kind of hear a little bit what's going on, was the carriage walks in District 9. So carriage walks are a small portion of paved sidewalk going to and from buildings, and historically that's where you would drop off your lady in the day so that she didn't have to walk through the mud and everything. The carriage walks were removed on Maple when construction was done, and they were never replaced. So it was difficult for the residents there it was really nice for people that don't have any access. They don't have to the front of their building, so they would have to trail or dig a snow path, and sometimes they're hacking up their lawn. So that was just an interesting issue that I just attended just because, just for the hell of it.
And so where do you hope to make a difference? So, and what I mean by that is you probably have some disagreements, and I'd like to talk to that too, with the incumbent on some issues and maybe some other things. But yet you're just one person on the council, right? So how do you hope to make an impact? Like what are your pet projects, or what are your big ideas for Green Bay?
My big idea for the district is just to restore civility and mutual respect, even if I am on a different side of the fence in an issue.
So, okay, what would you say to the people though that would say, maybe this person or certain people on council are a little more direct. Maybe they're a little less civil, but they get stuff done. Sometimes leaders aren't popular because they get things done, and sometimes they have to make tough choices that don't make everybody happy. And sometimes there's also a vocal minority that disagrees. Mm-hmm. So what would you say about that?
You can't make everybody happy, and at the end of the day, you have to do what you think is right. And while I don't think you have to be ugly. You can be firm.
Okay.
But I don't think you have to be ugly to get things done.
And you would characterize the current incumbent as being ugly at times?
At times.
Okay.
I mean, we all can be ugly at times.
Whatever. So this is not a top secret thing that there are certain people that think that Kaizema has some behavior issues when in council and sometimes even outside of council. Mm-hmm. Everyone doesn't have to agree that it's actually an issue, but it's been widely reported. It's been in all the news outlets, and there've been. I'd actually like you to hear your thoughts on there was a code of conduct, right?
I think there should be a code of conduct for anything. I mean, whether it's spoken or not. And if you run for a public office and you're getting paid for a public office, I don't think it's out of line to follow a code of conduct. That really is to protect you in the long run.
So, okay. But I'm just going to keep playing devil's advocate a little bit, okay? So, wouldn't you agree, though, that as a city council person, you're only beholden really to, well, there's priorities, right? You're beholden to your constituents first, right? And so if your constituents want something and the rest of the city doesn't, let's say, maybe you come across maybe a little more forceful, but you're like, I don't care. You're wrong. You're stupid. You don't see things the way that my people see them. So I think most, I don't want to say most people, but many people would would like someone going to bat for them, right? So, much like in international politics, there are people that, and you can never win on things because people have disagreeing viewpoints on how things should be handled, right? But you want to have a strong leader that's sticking up for your viewpoints, right?
Correct.
So how would you be strong and civil at the same time?
Well, I would definitely listen.
Don't you think that Guy Zimmer would say he listens though too?
He probably would.
Okay. So how would you differentiate that? You're the fresh face. So I can even sound like I'm beating up on him. He has a huge advantage because people know he's a known quantity.
He does.
So
he's been in the office
even
for
if people
38 years.
So the problem is, I know, almost as old as I am, which blows my mind sometimes, and people have a hard time wrapping their head around that. But even if people don't want something, they don't know about the alternative. And so, and especially with multiple people involved in this election, how do they choose?
Well, first, they have to be involved and they have to be concerned about their district. And some people are concerned and want to be involved. They just, life is busy. Things happen. It gets away from you. And that's why you have to knock on doors and you have to let people know make them aware. So I have talked to many people who are like, oh, I think our current alder is a necessary evil. I don't like the way things are done, but he gets things done, and that's what's important to them. And
are you still going to get things done?
I am.
How?
Because I don't give up.
Okay, but I think people would characterize him in the same way.
Again, I'm not. Well, I can't tell you. I can keep telling you.
Yeah.
But I'm not disrespectful in that manner.
Okay.
I'm
maybe I'm trying to badger you to a
point.
point where you'll crack, and then we'll see how you really react when people are vehemently against you.
Well, that's fine. You can keep asking the same thing.
Okay. So so you would claim to have a more even temperament.
Yes.
And you're saying treat people with respect. And, it's always funny when people describe themselves, though, because I think that, and people can, of course, disagree, right?
Of course.
But I think that if Guy Zimmer was describing himself, he might use some of those same words. So I'm trying to get to the core of, specific things that you would do differently. So I guess maybe talk about some specific things that you would like to see changed.
In the district or with the council?
Really anything. How are you different? Why should I bother waking up and going to the polls on February 16th, you said, right? Because most people don't. I will, but most people don't. And so why should I pick you over somebody else?
Well,
or what do you want to change? What's the thing? Do you want to build a wall?
No.
Okay.
No.
You know what I mean? So sometimes, especially in a primary where it's a crowded field, all you get is a soundbite. So when I'm looking at this list of people, if I'm not you, and I know you pretty well, and I feel like I know Guy Zimmer pretty well, I don't think I know the other candidates. So if I'm just learning about them, I'm going to probably distill them down to a soundbite. I'm going to be like, oh, that's the wall guy. That's the anti-Iran guy, thinking about presidential politics, right? So in terms of Green Bay, that's the pool guy. That's the anti-drug guy, So,
well, what I would like to see changed is, like I said, more civility in the council. We can still disagree, but disrespectfully disagree. I would like to see work with the community officers with the drug issues. My district is the least favorable district when it comes to the value of the city. We're the poorest district. So it's really...
What does that mean?
Our district has the least value in the city.
So property values are the lowest? Or
property values, and that's including all of the businesses as well.
Okay.
So, which makes the prices more affordable, which makes problems for people that want to come in and lease a house for really cheap and move a drug house in.
Okay.
So I would like to see that changed. Just work more with the community and the neighborhood associations to let them know what their options are to help to give the police teeth to enforce the removal of these places.
So what would be an example of something where they don't have teeth?
If no one speaks up and no one helps, they don't know the issues. They don't know what's going on.
Okay.
And if you're a concerned citizen, you don't have to call the police. You can just, they're everywhere. You could stop an officer and just be like, so what would I do? What would you do? I have these concerns. And they'll note that. And
But how do they not have teeth, though? Like,
well, if you don't let the officers know there's an issue in the district, how are they going to know?
Okay.
We as the citizens have way more eyes than just the officers that are driving around, and they're going to the areas that need addressing and have concerns.
So you're probably saying it much more clearly than I would, but I would, if I was describing that, I would say that I would want to bring some clarity, some communication. That's a little cliche, I guess.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Between, and you mentioned like the neighborhood associations, but like regular people who are boots on the ground, you want them to be able to communicate directly with police officers.
Yes.
Easier.
Yes.
So what would you do to facilitate that?
In the not Astro Park, I apologize. In the Howard Park Association, the district officers came and spoke to the association. The association puts out newsletters, so that's one way. So that's fun and exciting, and it's really nice that the officers are willing to work with people. And I grew up in an area where that really wasn't the case. I didn't grow up in Green Bay, so
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Wapaka.
Okay.
So
Still in the hood.
yes. So,
You don't have New York values.
no, I don't. Not to say that's good or bad.
You see, you're becoming one of them already. You're becoming a politician. That's not a compliment.
Thank you.
So I'm going to just briefly interrupt because things are going too quick. I'm sorry. And
Time flies.
What?
Time flies.
Yes. So I want to just thank my sponsors. And my main sponsors are Camera Corner Studios, which is where we are, and which make this really possible. Nick especially. I think everybody knows that. Nick is looking for a new host.
Yeah, always.
Always.
Maybe I'll have a election for that too.
Right?
There you go.
And so very quickly, Nick, tell people how they can get in touch with you, why they'd want to, especially political people that might be listening right now.
Sure. I mean, we do all kinds of content production, whether you're looking at doing podcasts or YouTube video series, or I do corporate training videos, all kinds of things, ranging from, a couple microphones to a full multi-camera HD live internet broadcast video studio. So if you need anything, give me a call. We have custom packages, and we have a handful of pre-built packages, so you can see, kind of ideas what it's going to cost, starting at $65. So give me a call. We'll build up a system for what you need at 920-272-0148.
So like if you need a campaign video.
There we go.
When you win the primary. And my other chief sponsor is ReleaseWire, and they provide press release services to small businesses. They have thousands and thousands of customers across the country. They're based right here in Green Bay, And I would encourage everyone who is a business person or an organization to go to releasewire.com. You can set up a free public profile there and check out the press release services that they have there. So now I am back with Amanda Patterson-Luedtke. Okay. And so is that how your name is going to appear on the ballot?
It is.
Okay. So that's always interesting. Because so people have all sorts of spell. Like I see things from you mostly on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right. So people have their name one way there, and they have their name one way on the ballot. So I just like to make that clear. Okay. So city council is nonpartisan.
Correct.
Which means what?
It means there's no political party that you really need to be affiliated with.
So, like, you're not a Democrat, you're not a Republican, you're just a person that represents your district.
A public servant.
A public servant. Well, they're all supposed to be public servants. And let's see, I want to make sure that I kind of cover the same ground with everybody. One thing, so I guess short answers if you can. So, like, one thing you'd like, a new initiative that City Council's not addressing at all. Do you have any ideas that way?
In a roundabout way. So I would like to see some of the vacant lots repurposed in the areas. If the city owns them, they own quite a few vacant lots. Nothing's happening there.
Okay.
So I was hoping to propose that we would do some dog parks. Now, they're not going to be a huge park where you're going to run your dogs and then you're going to play a lot of Frisbee. A lot of these lots are smaller. But I think that would be nice to repurpose some of these vacant lots or community gardens.
Okay.
So
and how would you get the funding for that?
Oh, there is some funding available, but I was hoping that we could run. What am I trying to say here?
Do like a fundraising campaign?
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I'm just translating your gestures.
As I meant to.
Okay, and then so that's one thing new that you'd like to see added, some repurposing of some vacant land.
Yes.
What would you get rid of, or what do you think we don't need to worry about anymore? Or what would you cut?
I don't think there's really anything that we don't need to worry about anymore. The budget could definitely.
Very political. Good job.
Well, it's there for a reason, correct?
Not always. So, I would. I always remember this tax that we had to pay on phone lines when we had thousands of phone lines providing dial-up internet access. Mm-hmm. We had to pay a tax on each phone line as the tax went into effect to pay for the Spanish-American War. It was a 100-year-old tax. And it was put into place to pay for a war that is nobody even knows about anymore. So sometimes things do need to be cut. And
some things do need to be looked at, definitely.
So what would be you have any examples of anything like that you think is something the city shouldn't do? You have anything like that? You think they're doing otherwise a pretty good job?
For the most part.
So your campaign, if I was going to distill you to a soundbite, is you are running on, you're going to be a listener and you're going to be civil.
Restore civility.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
yes.
So I want to just give you like this last 4 or 5 minutes. Kind of give me your sales pitch. Like, why is that enough? Do you want to win?
I do.
Okay. So I'm a voter in your district. I happen to be. And so tell me what I can tell Gina and Kyle and my neighbors. What can I tell them to make them think that you are going to be there for them?
Well, like I said, I'm very invested in the district, so there isn't any reason why I wouldn't want to be there for anybody that is in the district. Not that I'm just strictly focused on the district. I would like to see a stronger, greater Green Bay. If I were giving you a sales pitch, I would actually ask you about your specific concerns and what you would like to see changed. I would write those down. And what I'm seeing, a lot of people want things cleaned up in the areas, in
Okay.
the problem areas.
I would like for the city not to cover my sidewalk when they plow the roads, because that I don't have a snowblower at home, and that sucks.
It does. And it always seems they come right around when you've got like 2 feet left, or you're walking back to your house.
Our sidewalk goes right to the road, and like they actually packed extra snow there. Like it's all cleared out by my neighbors, and our sidewalk goes right to the street, and it's like packed extra onto us. It was unsettling. Anyway, so that would be my thing right now, and in 2 months I'll forget about that. So that's not a real issue. But okay, so you would want
to
you would want to ask people.
Yes,
Yeah.
and like I said before, the people in the district are your eyes and ears. You're not going to get anything done without your eyes or your ears. I mean, I can use my mouth all I want, but I don't know what I'm talking about then if I'm not using the people in the district and their concerns. And like I said, I'm really focusing on the civility and the respect, listening, because I feel that those are 3 huge components to anybody who wants to make a difference and wants to be a strong leader or centerpiece. I would like to see the dog parks changed in the area, or I would like to bring the dog parks or find something to do with the vacant lots. There's definitely plenty of things that we could do besides that.
So I want to jump in. So the because things can turn into sound bites, right? Yeah. So you would not characterize yourself as the dog park lady. You would characterize yourself as the anti-vacant lot lady. Yes?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like when I'm going down the ballot, and I'm looking and I'm like, oh yeah, do I, how do I make that decision clear? And I mean, I think it speaks volumes the fact that you're here and you're trying to reach out and get people to know you a little better. Mm-hmm. And hopefully I can get your opposition in here. That would be fantastic. But you are reaching out already to do things.
Correct.
And in fact, you pushed us to get this scheduled. I would like to make a point of.
I don't think I pushed. I think I
No, you
just
did.
inquired.
You reminded, because I totally forgot.
Yeah. So
a message came in on a busy day, and I apologize for not getting back.
That happens.
Yeah.
I just didn't. I was like, well, I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah. So it was perfect. That was great.
No, it was great.
So closing thoughts. And we can go a little bit over the 13 seconds you see there.
Okay. Even if you don't vote for me, if I'm not the candidate for you, I really encourage everybody to get out, get to know the people that are running in your districts, because I think there are only 2 districts that are running without any competition. And
so in the city council, pretty much everybody has a reason to get out and vote.
Yes.
Not everybody, though, has a primary on February 16th.
No.
When's the full election day? Do you know that off the top of your head?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I was just focused on the primary to get through the primary, and so
keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, get out, get to know who is running in your district. Even if you don't, if you really enjoyed and you support your current alderman and they're still running, I think only Mr. Danziger is not asking for re-election. At the off chance that the other candidate does get elected, you still want to know and see where they stand, and then choose your horse.
Awesome. So Tuesday, February 16th is the spring primary election for city council, and the full election is on Tuesday, April 5th. So
I was going to say the 8th.
Well, it's a Tuesday.
Close.
It's always a Tuesday. That's part of the reason we always make it a Tuesday, right? So people can't get it screwed up too bad. Amanda Patterson-Luedtke, thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Don't forget to run over to iTunes and Stitcher and give a rating and review of the show. It helps other people find us.
Cheers.